It's called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
That's right.
Well, I saw it this morning.
Yeah, I saw it a week and a half ago.
One thing that surprised me watching it, I enjoyed it thoroughly, of course, but I'm 1 degree of separation away from that movie. About 6 or 7 years ago, we made a pilot for the now defunct Maker Studios. Mm-hmm. It was a web series pilot, and it was called Film 101. And we worked with a stuntman on that project who is in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And
Really?
He's featured prominently.
He's not just a stuntman, but he's a performer?
Well, he doesn't have any lines, but he is one of the 4 security guards in the first big fight scene.
Oh, nice.
I remember working with a guy who was very professional, very soft-spoken. Mm-hmm. And in this movie, he's got some really kick-ass hand-to-hand combat skills.
You should have used that in the pilot. Maybe you'd be...
All I did was slam his head into a table. I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good. It might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement. Well, I bet you're wondering what movie we're going to be watching tonight. Mm-hmm. Well, then I better hurry up and take it out of this envelope because we're late. We're late for a very important date, Craig, with Alice in Wonderland.
Nice! Maybe. Which Alice in Wonderland is this?
Released in 1933, AIW was directed by Norman Z. MacLeod, with animated sequences by Hugh Harman and Rudolph Ising. It stars Charlotte Henry, Richard Arlen, Edward Everett Horton, Gary Cooper, and Basement alums Cary Grant and W.C. Fields. The screenplay was written by Basement alum Joseph L. Mankiewicz and Basement Hall of Famer William Cameron Menzies. The story is based on the novel Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Sterling Holloway, who plays the Frog in this film, would go on to provide the voice of the Cheshire Cat in the much more famous 1951 Disney animated adaptation.
And he would also be Winnie the Pooh farther down the line. I'm looking at the picture of Humpty Dumpty back here. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot in this movie that is more terrifying than enchanting.
Lewis Carroll, born 1832, died 1898. Your Gift is a game that he might have played during his lifetime.
Changeable portraits of ladies.
Read the back.
This amusing game is artfully reproduced from the original, which was published in 1819. 27 portraits can be rearranged to create an astonishing 19,683 different combinations.
Do you like ladies? Would you like to change them?
I like ladies, but to my specifications.
Well, won't you tumble down the rabbit hole with us to the old leather couch, where we're going to be enjoying the classic film adaptation of the classic novel, Alice in Wonderland.
Wrong already. I've at least read this much of the book.
It's a snowy day and Alice is bored. Sure, her stuffy aunt is there, but she's no fun.
Alice, stop traipsing about having fun and using your imagination.
Don't you think you had better work a while at your sampler?
That woman has the voice of every woman over 50 in a movie from the 1930s.
Yep. What is Alice to do to amuse herself?
She makes the chess piece talk to each other and rough each other about.
She deliberately bumped into His Majesty and knocked him off his feet.
Alice, are you sure that that is true?
It is true, Margaret Dumont. I mean, other lady.
A white rabbit.
Dum 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 dum.
Finally, she sits down with her cat, Dinah, and passes out. Up goes the matron, and she's like, all right, now I can go do my thing. I bored her thoroughly. Now it's time for my sexy dance.
Look at the looking glass over the mantelpiece. There's another world in there.
What if I climb up on the mantel and press just right and... oh, there she is!
Into that backwards looking glass world.
Evia Pulsini Asinator.
Oh, she's gonna summon the Dark Lord.
Of course, it's the looking glass room.
If I look into the looking glass, and say Candyman 5 times, then a nice Candyman will appear.
You'll actually give me candy.
Bong, 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 bong. 8 o'clock.
Bong, 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 bong. Blaze that chronic.
Bong, 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 bong.
But your hands say 20 minutes to 4.
20 to 4, it's 4:20, Mr. Bong. She leaves the room and quickly goes downstairs and out the door.
And she sees that rabbit again, but this time it's wearing a little vest and some clothes.
And is trying to get somewhere fast. Alice is in hot pursuit.
And she goes falling down the rabbit hole, so to speak. I feel like I'm doing something that will become an overused idiom in the 21st century. She falls to the bottom of the hole, and there's a little tiny door there, and she looks through, and there's a beautiful garden beyond. She really wants to go into that garden, but she's too big.
A concoction arrives.
It says, "Drink me." Courvoisier, delicious. She grows really big.
Ouch. Ooh.
Now, there's no way she can get into the garden, and she starts to cry. And her giant big girl tears fall down all over. Then she sees a little box, and there's a little thing in there that says, "Eat me." Yeah, that's right. She doesn't understand that that could be taken as rude in the context of other time periods, so she goes ahead and eats it, and that makes her small. But you know, those tears she shed, they've formed a great big lake, and now she's swimming around in it. Alice meets a caterpillar, who's blazing up.
Good day, sir.
Come back. I have something important to say.
Yes?
You want to hit this? Bah, I'm too small. I want to get bigger. Eat parts of this mushroom.
One side will make you grow taller. The other side will make you grow shorter.
The ones that Mother gave you don't do anything at all. You know the song.
She doesn't want to get any smaller because it'll be like that scene in Ant-Man where he gets subatomic. So instead, she goes the opposite way and gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
She gets big, she gets small, she leaves. Yeah.
How am I to get in?
I shall sit here for days and days.
Just like Siddhartha. Alice goes into this house of horrors. There is a duchess there with a baby. She's just shamelessly beating the baby. And she's loving it.
I've been there.
You've been where? What part of this have you been?
I've been in the Tudor cottage, man.
The cook is not any sort of cook that you or I have ever known.
If everybody minded their own business, the world would go round much faster than it does. Here, you can nurse it a bit if you like.
Nurse it? I'm 12.
That's not at all a proper way of expressing yourself.
That's when babies do this.
Yep.
They just go like this. The baby turns into a pig. There's a cat in the tree.
Why do you grin, oh cat?
Because I'm a Cheshire cat. That's why. By the by, what became of the baby? I'd nearly forgotten to ask.
When you hear the voices, it sounds like the actor first reading the lines, just to make sense of a sentence before they put any sort of character into
no
it.
take two.
Yeah.
Don't you wish you could do this?
Not really.
Really, that's the Chester Cat laugh that you chose, actor.
Alice wanders into a tea party. There are these guys sitting at the table. It's this big table, and there's only 3 of them, but they insist that there's no room. Nuh-uh, I see plenty of room. I'm sitting down at this tea party, whether I'm invited or not. There's the Mad Hatter. There's the March Hare. There's a little guy called the Dormouse. And they're all mad.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at.
Twinkle, 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 twinkle.
Twinkle, twinkle,
Little twink.
how I wonder.
What you think? Time to murder. Well, it's clear that Alice isn't going to get any tea here, so she leaves. Tea leaves. Tea leaves. Huh?
It's the stupidest tea party I ever was at in all my life.
I'm going to fire my agent.
She comes upon a curious tree.
Can you find 2 more of us so we can be a flush?
Come. Get up.
They're laying on the ground like that because they're waiting for the turn and the river.
Out comes the queen.
Off with his head.
The Queen of Hearts has some aggression.
Off with her head.
Then they play croquet,
but the croquet balls are little rodents, and the croquet mallets are these droopy neck birds.
This is how it's done in England.
All animals were harmed in this making of this scene. Here's the griffin.
And then we meet the mock turtle, who is played by arguably the greatest film actor of all time.
Sit down, both of you. And don't speak a word till I'm finished.
Judy. The turtle didn't like going to school. That's the whole thing.
The master was an old turtle. We used to call him Tortoise.
I had hoped the scene with Cary Grant would be a highlight of this film, but I think it's just the opposite. Alice leaves. The griffin maybe turns into the Red Queen, but suddenly we're running. Faster! Red Queen says a bunch of stuff. Alice leaves. Here's a couple of fellas, the Tweedles, Dee and Dumb.
Looking bulbous as usual.
These two seem to have a severe glandular problem of some sort.
Let's do a dance for this little lady.
And we get to see a cartoon.
The walrus and the carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand.
It looks like these two need to be lanced. The walrus and the carpenter are really interested in the oysters, and they entice the oysters to come out and play. And they eat the oysters.
Well, they were both very unpleasant characters.
I found it difficult to relate to them in any way. And one of them just loses his shit because he sees that his new rattle has been broken.
Dumb and Dee get into an argument, and then out comes the suit of armor and the sword and the umbrella.
We're gonna have a battle. Zabba zabba rattle. But now it's getting dark and Alice wanders off. She sees the White Queen. The White Queen says some things that are rather strange.
My finger's bleeding.
Is there a director? Or did they just say, make it weird?
And then she turns into a sheep.
And she's a shopkeeper. A sheepkeeper, if you will.
I should like to buy an egg, please.
The egg starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, look, we know that egg.
It's Humpty Dumpty.
That's the egg. That's Mr. Dumpty himself.
All his horses and all his men. They'd pick me up again in a minute, they would.
Stop what you're doing. I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to.
They gave it to me for an unbirthday present.
What is an unbirthday present?
I've come to wish you an unhappy unbirthday, 'cause you're evil and you're an egg.
I shouldn't know you if we did meet. You're so exactly like other people.
The face is what one generally goes by.
Just fall already. We need to see this happen. The poem is 5 lines long. This scene is, you know, we've been complaining that everything moves along too fast. And then once it doesn't, we're like, come on! Is there nothing else in this wondrous land? HD says, well, if I fall, just let the king know. He's got a bunch of people who can help me out.
Help!
Wither Dumpty. The king arrives with his battalion.
Oh, Your Majesty, Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall.
I almost feel as though I don't really need to say the story, because we all know the story. But that's what I do here in this portion of the show.
Are you the king's messenger?
I am the White Knight.
White Knight.
He says a bunch of stuff all laconically.
So laconic, he couldn't even stay on the horse.
Of course it's laconic. It's Gary Cooper.
I've never seen a horse look embarrassed before. And the White Knight wanders off, and then Alice wanders the other way. Suddenly, Alice has been made into a queen herself.
I'm a queen.
Yes, queen!
Thank you for coming to medieval times. You are the queen for the day.
There's a big party going on in Alice's honor. Queen Alice.
No admittance until week after next.
Why, how dare you?
You know who I am? Do you know who I am?
It leads to a beautiful banquet.
All of the cast of characters are there. The turtle, the walrus, the oysters, whoever. They're all there. And they're all drunk.
Let me introduce you to that leg of mutton. Alice, leg of mutton.
I did not think it could get any more, but it has become more.
Suddenly things get genuinely scary, folks. I was really frightened by this scene. And I'm not kidding.
Something's going to happen! Something's going to happen!
Here I am.
Yes! It's all just a dream. She wakes up. There's her cat Dinah. I went beyond the looking glass. I was there.
And now I'm back here, and there's no place like home.
Alice in Wonderland. This movie was grotesque and frightening.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling it would be, but I had a feeling also that it would make as much sense as a telling of Alice in Wonderland should.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
No.
The masks didn't work at all. There
No.
was not when you're talking like this, and you had just any random voice behind it, very specific random voices of all the minor stars of Hollywood. It doesn't play. It would be like going to Chuck E. Cheese and having all the animatronic band doing a production of Long Day's Journey to Night. And they're just doing,
it's just a summer cold. It's important to bring up that at the time that this movie was released, Paramount was going bankrupt.
Huh?
And they were desperate for a hit. And so they developed a property that they could just put all of their stars in.
Okay.
Not realizing that when you take your most bankable stars and put an ugly mask on them, that just really is not appealing. The effects in this are so clumsy, but then at other times the effects are beautiful. Evocative of Jean Cocteau, the Orpheus trilogy.
Yeah, and the Blood of the Poet, yes. There's no forward momentum in this plot. She just goes from one scene to the next. Here's a door, I go through it. But there's no reason why she wants to go through the door other than the fact that there is a door. The Disney Alice in Wonderland. Alice is always forced into the next scene, or she runs into the next scene. She's being chased. She's trying to catch someone. There's always a little bit of danger wherever she goes. Not here. There's no danger. There's no forward propulsion, and there's no wonder.
Well, and also Alice doesn't have any levels. She's just this throughout the whole thing. She's never really frustrated. Even when she's crying, she's really not sad.
No.
You don't get a sense of a young girl being baffled, or a young girl being scared, or being interested, or being amused.
Yeah.
It's just all just a single tone.
But it really seems that this is a two-take movie. You have 2 takes to make it through the scene. Don't mess it up.
Norm MacLeod's got another picture to do next week.
Yeah.
We need to finish this one this week. So, tell me about Cary Grant's career at this point. He's not famous?
But he's probably recognizable because
his star is rising.
Yeah. I recently saw a movie that he had a small role in, came out a year or two before, called Merrily We Go to Hell, which should be a really fun movie with that title. It's not.
Yeah.
It's one of his first roles, and he's fully formed. It's Cary Grant persona done.
You would think that they would know that by now, and they would take this Mock Turtle character and change it to reflect that sort of charm and sardonic humor that he's capable of.
Yes.
I'd rather see that Mock Turtle come up and be like, "Oh, I was in school the other day, and it was just it was such a bother," and make it funny.
He should have been the Griffin.
Yes! Yes!
They could have just swapped outfits. Although, were they in the outfits?
I don't know.
It was probably...
As much as we didn't enjoy this, and as much as we kind of complain about it, it's hard for me to be mad at it, because it's such a fascinating artifact of its time.
It is.
It's like looking at hieroglyphics and saying, that doesn't look like people.
Yeah, they're all flat.
Right. Did Lewis Carroll, was he known to do lots of drugs?
I don't know. They say that this is really mostly talking about math, because he was a mathematician.
I heard a story that he was given an audience with the Queen, and she said that she loved the book so much, and you must send me your next book. And so he sent her his next book, which was a math book. Alice in Wonderland has been experienced, and as you can see, our heads are still intact. And now it's time to do a little feature we like to call Seen It.
Joel Quick writes, Kingpin, a nihilistic comedy about people being really into bowling. Seen it.
Seen it. The Farrelly brothers have a unique gift for comedy.
That's right.
And they do it well.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I like their movies. What I don't like is that they're so cynical in their pursuit of jokes at any cost and at reactions and shock at any cost, that oftentimes their movies just seem soulless. And that's what I really don't like about it, and particularly about Kingpin.
I can see where you're coming from with that. I don't think it's as true with something about Mary.
That has more of a heart to it.
Yeah, I think Kingpin is the funniest of the lot. It's just always swinging, and it is soulless, but sometimes, I don't mind my comedy mean on occasion.
I don't think chugging a bucket of bull semen is funny.
There's a bull semen scene in it? I don't remember that part.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, well,
Dustin Hall, Boom, with Taylor and Burton. I'd been waiting to see it forever. It didn't disappoint. It was so bad, it was good, just as I had been told. Seen it.
Not seen it.
I wish I knew this was such a cult movie for the gay community. I might have enjoyed it a little more, but I didn't like it. I thought it was dull. Okay.
So it's accidental camp?
There's nothing accidental about the camp. Screenplay by Tennessee Williams. It was directed by Joseph Luzzi, who did Modesty Blaze.
Oh.
It has the exact same tone as Modesty Blaze.
And does it have that exact same, you missed again? Like every single scene in Modesty Blaze is like, that could have been a really good scene.
Yes, exactly. And I think they're even on the same island.
Yeah.
It's a movie about nothing. And the dialogue is about nothing. And the things that happen, they don't mean anything. And that's just really frustrating to watch. Although Noel Coward has the best entrance into the movie that I've ever seen.
Zebra in a Tux writes, I'm sure you have, but have either of you seen Apocalypse Now?
I've seen Apocalypse Now many times. I might have seen it in the theater once.
I saw Redux in the theater.
I saw Redux recently, and that's what I want to talk about. That is the second cut that Coppola did of Apocalypse Now. He did one after that.
Oh, he did?
This is the original. This is Redux. That's the third one.
Oh, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Redux went on a bit.
I watched the whole thing and came to the conclusion, he got it right the first time. The French plantation scene, I think, is the one that people talk about the most. It just stops the movie dead in its tracks. Yeah. It kills the pacing.
That scene is why we have DVD extras.
Yeah. Ocean Sage. Dillinger makes me want to revisit Michael Mann's killer, Public Enemies. Seen it.
Seen it.
I actually saw it twice because I watched it again with you.
Yes, you did.
You were not very impressed.
No, I was bored by the entire movie. There's a guy who shows up late who says, Dillinger wouldn't go to see this movie. He went to see that movie because that's a ladies' movie. He's going to go see this one. Wow. Why wasn't the entire movie done at this force? Use this smart of a line with this forceful of an actor.
I found it to be as mediocre the second time as I did the first.
Mm-hmm.
Did we end up turning on the subtitles because the sound mixing was so murky we couldn't understand the dialogue?
Yeah. Time has come, the walrus said, to talk of other things. Like the fact that we have a website.
Yes, a true Wonderland that you can go to called welcometothebasementshow.com. All of our episodes are there, and there are PayPal donation buttons that you can click on and make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support our show. We have a donor here named John. He made a very generous donation. No comment to read, but thank you, John, for your support.
That could be any John.
There are a lot of them. You can also watch Unboxing, which comes out this coming Friday. It is more Craig and Matt chat, mail opening, and surprises. You should take a look.
You should.
And now, take a look at this.
What does it matter where my body happens to be? My mind goes on working all the same.
And I'm Gary Cooper, and this is about my inflection all the time. Believe me, it will work in movies farther down the line, and I will win an Oscar deservedly for High Noon. But right now, in this absurd role, I only look a fool.
I'm a Cheshire cat. That's why.